official.
So we are getting ready to watch Joe Cannella versus Mike Hutchinson in the 2018 Andy Mercer Memorial 9-Ball Classic. These are all B-side matches. If you look to your left, you'll see Eric Yerlefson and Ronnie Alcano. Ronnie Alcano is up 3-1. That match has been going for a little while. Diagonally from this feature table, you have Tommy Lips versus Gary Namora. The score in that match is 3-2. And you also have Mike Helmer and Ian Costello, not quite started yet, but they'll be over there to your right. Ian just won the first game on that match, so they have started.
Stacy Allsup and Ben Sutherland in the booth. Daniel Bush to our left.
Yeah, later on tonight, we got Jimmy Mattia.
Yes.
He's coming out.
Nice.
Every year.
Share some of his love and affection for all you pool fans.
The legendary Jimmy Mattia. All right. Joe getting it started here with a...
Yeah, these are all played on 7-foot tables. This is played at the Rum Runner Tropicana in Las Vegas, Nevada. They hold 3 events every year. The second weekend in March, or the third, depending on timing, is the Doc Hill Memorial Tournament. That is a B player, 580 Fargo and under. And then they have this weekend the Andy Mercer. This is an open event, open to anybody. And then next weekend, 9 years ago, they started a women's charity event every year, focusing on a different charity. They've done Shade Tree, Safe Nest, and this year, the proceeds from that event will be going to the Wounded Warrior Project. There will be raffle tickets for all sorts of amazing prizes. So if you're in Las Vegas, come down, buy some tickets, or check out Katie Morse. You can also buy tickets online. And don't forget that if you're here in Las Vegas, the sponsor of this stream is the Mucci Qs that are being raffled off. They were nice enough to give Daniel 2 sticks to raffle off, so come buy raffle tickets down here in person at the Rum Runner. Say hi to anybody on the stream. That raffle will be going on until tomorrow, and that's what is helping Daniel get here to give you guys that stream. Daniel also has a link in the chat where you can donate to the cause, providing free streaming coverage of the best tournaments on the West Coast. Thanks to Ben for coming in the booth with us. We watched him play earlier, and he's going to be playing again at 6 o'clock, so he'll have to step out when that comes. He's still got an hour, though, right?
Yeah, at 6:45 it's scheduled for, but I'm also scheduled to play on the table that's behind a little bit right now. So I imagine at 6 o'clock it'll get caught up, kind of like yesterday.
Yep. And
Big shout out for Ben's help with bracket maintenance.
Oh,
yes, he's the one keeping the live bracket updated for you guys so you can see what's going on. And we have some score updates for you. We got Ronnie and Eric. Ronnie is up 3-2. Eric won that last game. Tommy has brought it back, tied it up at 3-3 versus Gary Namora. Ian's still up 1-0 over Mike Helmer. No change there. And we're seeing the first game of Joe Cannella, local player, former owner of Pool Sharks before it closed, and then Mike Hutchinson.
Cannella Spirits.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, he makes a cinnamon cordial that is fantastic. You can buy it at all the Lee's discount liquor here in Las Vegas, and I think you can also buy it from their Facebook page.
You can get it at Lee's?
Yes.
I just opened a Lee's, like, walking distance from my house, and I've never been there, but maybe I'll stop in and try.
Best place to buy alcohol.
Is it? I'm not much of a
You
drinker.
can get Dan Aykroyd's vodka there, too.
Have to try that.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a drinker, but I do like my vodka on occasion.
It's about the only thing I have in my house. Low calorie.
I'm a snob, though.
Gets
It's got to
the job
be
done.
like, Kettle One or Grey Goose or Belvedere. That was a good kick.
Yes, it was.
Unfortunately.
Joe is mainly actually a bar table player now. He used to play big table a lot. He was actually one of the players that did well in the IPT, and that was big table. 8-ball is his game. He and I have played together in Scotch doubles tournaments in BCA. He's a great player, great mindset for the game. Again, 8-ball is a strong suit, but bar table 9-ball is not a tough game to have a grasp on. So He kicks well. He plays position well. He's real good at breakouts and maneuvering the cue ball. So if we have a tough rack, anytime there's a rack where there's a lot of moving going on, Joe's definitely a favorite.
Your thing is like waving. I keep thinking someone's.
My leprechaun hats. I went out to the car and changed into my green shirt and my little leprechaun hats. So they're distracting Daniel.
I've got some green.
He keeps seeing him and he keeps thinking somebody's waving at him. Got to be in the spirit, right? I mean, St. Patrick's Day. How can you not? And he hit that beautiful. He knew he was going to run into it, so he tried to make sure that he ran into it on the right side of the ball so that he would still have a shot afterwards. Mike is a deliberate player, but he's not slow. He makes decisions, at a good pace, and he doesn't stay down on the ball too long.
Let me ask your opinion on something, Stacy. You were saying, and I heard this from a couple of different sources, that if you've won as of now, if you've won the Dock Hill, you can't play a second time. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep, they changed that rule 2 years ago.
What would your opinion be on that same thing in this event?
I think you can't do that in an open event like that. I think the players know what they're getting into. It's not a B-player tournament. When you think about a B-player tournament, when you win it, that means that you are the best of that range and you're ready to move to the next level. And I think in this, I don't think that same rule applies. I think B tournaments are designed to
I agree. I was
move
just wondering
people
what
up.
your thoughts were.
Yeah. Yep.
They could
that
avoid
is my thoughts.
changing the rules, the break rules and the break box rules year after year.
Yeah. Now I don't know if I agree with changing the rules every year. You know what I mean? I think if you have something that works, they've gone 20 years of doing this tournament. I think
28 years, I believe.
You find what works and you stick with it, and they've changed the rules quite a bit. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. They're going to get 64 players every year regardless. It's going to be a great event every year regardless. And it does make it so that the players have something new to practice for.
That's
because
true.
anytime they change the rules, you see players in here practicing, working on their game, trying to do things differently to get ready for it. So, it puts a different kind of pressure on the players to continue evolving as they change the rules, which is cool.
This is just proof that Shane really is the best player.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what format.
Doesn't matter
what they do.
what
They
format.
can change the break. They can change the rack. They can change where you break from. It doesn't matter. Shane, he's the best breaker in the world, but he's the best at everything else in the world too, I believe. So
He puts in the time.
he does. And a lot of people, great players,
What a
struggle.
shot.
That was a fantastic shot.
That
Will
was
struggle against him just because of who he is. So he's got that to his advantage as well.
Yeah.
People get nervous or don't play quite as well as they're capable of on occasion. And then you got the flip side of that where people play better against players like him. They play over their own rating or over their own head.
We got somebody here that says, get rid of the magic rack, no jump cues, winner breaks. That is very true, Daniel, for sure. Him and Jimmy would get along great. I played the first 9 years of pool without jumping. All I did was kick. The guy that taught me said, you should be able to kick any ball in. That's just, you should be able to know how to play the game well enough and know the rails well enough to kick the ball in. And eventually I got to a point where I wanted to have more tools in my arsenal. I wanted to have, different options if it came down to it. I wanted to be able to jump the ball in if the option presented itself. So I did start playing with a jump cue because you got to keep up with the competition, right?
I wasn't a big fan of jump cues early on, but
if the rules allow it and everybody else is going to do it,
Yep.
How can you not? Now, if they don't allow it, I'm fine with that too. It doesn't bother me if they say no jump cues in a tournament because then I know nobody else has that option. And I know that I love kicking. I have no problem with kicking because I was kind of raised with that mindset of kick at everything. So, It doesn't bother me at all, but I'm going to use it if I can.
Absolutely. Okay, looking around the room. Ronnie and Eric are tied up at 3 apiece. Eric shooting the 7 ball with a tic-tac-toe layout. He makes the 7. He's straight in on the 8 with natural angle for the 9. I look for Eric to get up 4-3 here. Gary is up 4-3 over Tommy Lips. Ian Costello is up 2-1 over Mike. What's his last name? I can't read it from here. No.
No,
Mike.
Helmer.
Mike Helmer. Thank you.
Yep, Mike Helmer.
And then we've got Mike Hutchison up 1-0 over Joe Cannella here on our feature table. Eric did take that game on table 4, so Eric now has the lead over Ronnie 4-3.
Yeah, he's won 3 in a row.
Yeah. Looking around the room, there is a fairly decent-sized crowd building.
Yeah. Yep, there's not very many open seats. We got a lot of players that are going to be coming up that are here waiting for their matches to get started, and just a ton of locals here watching.
Yep. I don't see him at the moment, but I do need to give a proper shout out to Trace Kane for making the journey up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a player every year.
Yep, he was going to play this year and
had surgery.
He had surgery and was able to get out of the tournament and let somebody else get in.
Yeah,
and
I think that's how Ronnie got in.
I think you're close.
There was a couple of players that dropped out.
There were a
couple of players
last...
allowed Ray Skinner to get in, allowed Ronnie Alcano to get in.
Trace, he said that he's still going to play the CSI Banks.
The Banks in one
Yeah.
pocket.
One pocket coming up.
Yeah, he's
Which,
got
by the way,
enough recovery time.
Yeah, which, by the way, there are a couple of tournaments coming up.
Yeah, that's the 20th through the 25th of this month over at Griff's.
Exactly.
The U.S. Open One Pocket and the U.S. Open Banks.
Yes.
I'm not sure which one goes first. I want to say One Pocket's first, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, it's a guess for me, too.
I do know that it's the 20th through the 25th of this month, so that's coming up here in a few days. So if you're not playing in that, at least make sure to come out and support Griff's and come out and support the players and sweat it if you get the opportunity. I would imagine that there is a stream. I don't know for certain.
I'm pretty sure they have cameras set up there.
I think it's a paid stream, but regardless, I believe the stream is available. Why are you kicking me?
Sorry, didn't mean to kick you.
God.
I'm trying to get a better view of what's going on.
She's talking about kicking balls. Now she's kicking her co-commentator. Daniel.
So we just had a great shot from Ronnie. Ronnie's got the 5, 6, 8, 9 left to tie it back up at 4-4. And Gary is in the process of running out, which would take him to the hill. So we'll see what happens with both of those. Ian is up 3-1 breaking against Mike Helmer. Joe Cannella, Mike Hutchison, the one that we're watching now, still 1-0. I missed it because I sat down too fast, but Daniel just saw Ronnie crossbank the 5 to get shape on the 6. And he's got an 8-9 to tie it up.
Ronnie looks like a younger Efren with a half a mullet.
Yeah, he does. He has an interesting hairdo going on, and you really can't miss him from across the room.
It goes a little further than that, folks. Ronnie had teeth removed so that he could look like Efren.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
True story.
Yep.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a tie ball game here with Ronnie and Eric now, 4-4.
Yeah, with Ronnie's break. So if this goes hill-hill, Ronnie will have the hill-hill break.
I'm a little biased here. I'm pulling for Eric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tall guys unite.
That's right. Joe got a little bit of a long shot here on the 8 ball, but I think he can just roll it up into the bottom right corner as we were looking at the screen.
Yeah.
And just kind of take what the table gives him for a shot on the 9. There we go. Oh, he went at it very aggressively. Give it to him.
I know Michael's talking about how he's got Ronnie. In this format, to me, with two players of that caliber playing each other, whoever has the hill break is who I'm going for, and in this case, Ronnie has the hill break. So I would agree with you on that, specifically just because the format of the tournament. I don't think that one player is better than the other, but it's kind of the way the cookie crumbles when it's alternate break in a short bar table format.
Joe with a very nice bank shot on the 9. Ties it up 1-1.
And Gary did not run out that rack. Tommy won. Score is 4-4.
Wow,
Gary's break.
That's a momentum swing.
Gary will have the hill break over there. It's 4-4 now. Still 4-4 with Ronnie and Eric. And Ian has now gone up 4-1 over Mike Helmer. It's because you have a big head.
Thanks.
Coming up April 14th and 15th, we've got the 49th annual Terry Stonier Reunion 9-ball tournament. Please be sure to tune in to POVPOOL April 14th and 15th. Sacramento Jointed Cue Billiards.
Mike breaking with authority. Cue ball goes 2 rails and scratches. I am not a fan of that cut break. I'm just not from this small box.
I'm kicking you again, sorry.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Ronnie banging balls left and right.
Coming out smelling like a rose.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely has a chance to run this out. The 7-8 is a little bit funny. He needs to have the right angle.
He hit that good.
And it looks like he got it. So.
All right, that's going to put Ronnie on the hill. Eric concedes that game. Eric's a little frustrated.
Yeah. But it is also his break, so he has a chance to tie it up. That break is going to be very crucial.
I'm going to watch that break, too, because
Uh-huh.
he told me, we talked about it yesterday because he asked me what I was doing, and I asked him what he was doing. We were conflicting. He's doing the cut break, and I'm doing more of a head-on break, and he even said, I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to keep doing it. So I'm hoping he gets some positive results on his break here, and we see a hill-hill match.
Absolutely.
Ronnie hasn't moved his bead yet, but we know that he's on the hill.
Yeah.
Joe with a good 2-rail position there on the 4-ball.
And Ian, table that you can't see right now, Ian is now up 5-1 over Mike Helmer.
That's a tough deficit to come back from in this format, in any format, but especially in knowing that your opponent's going to get to at least 2 more breaks.
Yeah.
And your opponent's a world-class player.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ian played really good in his match earlier, too.
He's what, like 7-10, 7-15, Fargo, somewhere in there? Uh-oh.
A drink has gone down.
It didn't land on anybody, and it didn't land on a cue, so we're okay.
It did go all over somebody's phone. That's never never a good feeling. So, back to the match. Not an easy shot, but not a tough shot on the 5. It's kind of one of those.
Watch out for the 7. We floated
Hit
it
it
nicely.
perfect. Yep. Yeah, he's got enough of the cue ball to go forward or back, depending on what you're comfortable with.
Eric went for the cut break. Did not make the one. He made something because he's staying at the table. Oh, maybe he didn't. I'm sorry. Okay, he did.
No, he did, but he can't see the one. He's going to have to masse or jump.
I think he can see it. Look at it from this angle. I think it can be spun in anyway.
Barely if he can, yeah. And if he can keep it there, he's going to have a shot on the 2.
Mm-hmm. Nice little swerve there.
He hit it good. So Joe won that rack to go up 2-1 over Mike. Hit all those balls nice and smooth. No issues. Never out of line. Always a good thing. And you got Tommy Lips working on running out to get to the hill over Gary Onamura. Mike Helmer is at the table. He did win the last game, so that score is now 5-2. But by the way he just jumped up on that ball, I think he missed. And I think Ian is going to have a chance to close out this match.
Eric just made a beautiful shot on the 2 to break off the 4 and the 8. He left himself straight on the 4. And he's off to the races. This should be hill.
Yep.
And I'd say
He's just
less
going to
than a
have to
minute.
fade Ronnie's break. Everything you're watching today, Michael, is B-side matches. The first 2 rounds this morning were winner side matches, and then the first round tomorrow will be winner side matches, and then they'll go back and forth throughout the day.
Eric pocketed the 7, took the cue ball, or excuse me, the 6, took the cue ball 2 rails and bumped the 7. Got a little bit of a friendly roll, and he's got a good position. Shoot the 7, take the cue ball 2 rails for natural position on the 8 ball, which he did. I look for him to spin this around 3 rails, shoot the 9 in the same pocket.
And Tommy Lips did run out that rack, so he now is on the hill and breaking against Gary Onamura.
Huh?
Break and run could end that game.
And we've got hill action with Eric and Ronnie, folks.
Ronnie to break.
The table at the top of your screen, you'll see Eric racking. Ronnie will be breaking. They are 5-5 in a race to 6. Everybody getting their money's worth today.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of hill matches today.
Mm-hmm. Saw a lot of 6-1 matches to start the day, which was surprising.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them have gone very close throughout the rest of the day. So the B-side matches, I guess, to sum that up, the B-side matches have been closer than the A-side matches.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yeah, the first 4 matches of the day, the first 8 matches of the day were 6-1, 6-0, 6-1.
I think almost every one of them was 6-1.
Yeah.
I think Sal's match went 6-4.
Yeah, I remember reading off the scores too, and you were like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. That he got a little bit of a help from the 5 ball to get that safe that you were looking at on the screen, but you got to be happy with it. You got to be happy with the way that it ended up, because that is not an easy ball to hit. It looks like he's possibly froze in the back of the 2. And even if not, he'd still have to go 2 rails to even get to the 1.
That's a very admirable gesture by Ronnie right there. He checked the rack, and then he went up to Eric and shook his hand in good sportsmanship, knowing it's hill.
Yeah. Love seeing that.
Yep. I know Eric is probably in pain right now.
Yeah, it's hard to watch and not have any control.
Ronnie makes the 8 on the break and has position on the 1, and nothing is tied up.
And you can see the look on
Eric's
face.
Up and
yep. Unless something crazy happens.
It's going to take a mistake from Ronnie at this point.
Yeah, which is not likely, but possible nonetheless. And Ian wins that match 6-2. Ben's going to get those brackets updated for you. And now we're going to have Donnie Branson versus Cristina Gonzales. And that was a 4:45 match, so there will not be any hitting balls. They will be starting right away. He wanted to make sure his mic was turned off. He's going to go, Ben's going to go get some missing scores for us. Get the brackets updated.
Like this is day 2 and we only started today.
Mike taking a lot of time to think about what he wants to do with this ball in hand from that safety. Joe just decided to push the 2 up into that 5-9 and make the rack more difficult. And now Mike's trying to figure out if he wants to play safe, try to break something out.
I mean, if I were you, I'd look into it and make sure it's solid. And then I'd be happy to coach, or even, start something up myself.
Did you forget? So he opted to make the 1 and play shape to. I think he was trying to make that ball. It didn't look like it went. So he's let Joe back to the table. Joe has a straight end shot at the 2. The 4 is not really a problem. It goes in both pockets. So I think we're going to see a methodical run out here from Joe. And Ronnie won that match 6-5. Hill.
I feel like I walked in a cloud.
I'm just monitoring and keeping score. They're commentating.
When are you here, Tom?
So we have Tommy Lips still up 5-4 over Gary, except Gary now has his shot at the table to try to do something.
It's viewers like.
Donnie and Cristina are just now getting started. I lied to you guys. Eric won that match. The mistake that was needed from Ronnie happened. Eric got his wish. Ronnie hooked himself on the 7, and Eric was able to pull that out. So Eric wins that match. Hill. Next up on that table is going to be Butch Barba from Gardena, California, and then Grant Gilbert, who is a local.
Did you say hi to Geraldine? I forgot to say also, woo, whew, pretty sensitive mic. Hi. I also wanted to say that I'm really grateful to have Stacy Allsup here. She's been a real soldier. She's been a warrior, even just in this one day, for showing up, donating to POVPOOL, encouraging me to come out here with Geraldine and do this live stream. So, and just the coverage is great. I really appreciate all the score updates, and
it's just not the same without you guys here, It's just we love having you guys here. We definitely missed the presence last year. I know we streamed it, but the quality is not the same. Your setup, like I said, has just continued to get better and better, and where else am I going to have the chance to come do this, So
well, thanks.
I appreciate you letting me on.
And that's what I mean by the support you guys, give us, because it's not just making money. It's not just getting a lot of viewers. It's people calling us and letting us know, like, we want you to do this,
Absolutely. So. Yep. Yeah, Andy Hughes, like you said, Andy Hughes definitely, I know he poked you a lot on Facebook to
He did.
To really
He did.
To really get the message out there. We want you back.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my. I just wanted to thank
It
you.
is
You know,
absolutely
loud and proud.
absolutely welcome. I love every minute of it. That's what I told you. I'll commentate the whole time as long as if you need somebody so that you're not sitting here chilling by yourself, I got you. Unless Joe in the chat comes back and causes a ruckus again.
You mean Joe in the chat? What happened to who's Joe in the chat?
There was a Joe in the chat earlier that apparently
There was a
not
Joe.
a
There's
fan.
always a Joe
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, Geraldine was kind enough to just delete his comments. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to stay gone.
Okay, good. She probably banned him.
Yeah. I know the chat was sticking up for us. So.
Also, I want to give another shout out to Robert LeBlanc. I went out to the parking lot and I called him on the phone.
Yep.
And he says he's getting a little better. So
Yeah.
he got loaded up on like prednisone.
Yep.
And antibiotics and stuff. So,
Yep.
He says he's starting to feel better. So that's good. He's
We'll
been
love to
down
have
with like
him.
pneumonia for the last 5 days.
And I know it's rough for him to come in here regardless just because of the smoke. So if he comes down, I'll be surprised, but I'll also be happy to see him.
Exactly. He won't be here. I told him stay home.
Yeah.
Like if you're sick, man, stay home, especially coming into the Rum Runners. It is
Yeah.
a smoking establishment.
Yep. And like I said, we saw a nice, slow, methodical out from Joe there. He makes the score 3-1 over Mike Hutchison. Butch and Grant are just now getting started. Gary and Tommy are now hill with Gary at the table. And Donnie Branson won the first game over Cristina Gonzales, who you see over on your left side of the screen. She's also rocking the green today, supporting St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, I missed that. Who won between Ronnie and Eric?
Ronnie had the hill break. Ronnie broke, ran out, hooked himself on the 7, kicked at it, scratched, gave Eric ball in hand. Eric won hill.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So Eric won 6-5, and your brackets should be updated now. So. So Mike won. Score is now 3-2. Joe's break. Eric won. Ronnie hooked himself on the 7. Yeah, scratched, I think. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, I need food. Tuna sandwich. With fries. All right, so score on the match that you're watching, Joe Cannella versus Mike Hutchison. Joe's up 3-2. We have Bar Table Tommy DeLorenzo versus Andy Hughes coming up next. I'll find out who won in Gary versus Tommy. It just comes with like chips, fries, or coleslaw, and I want fries. Hey, Dick, who won over Gary and Tommy? Okay. Person McPerson, there is a ton of pros. We have Eric Horlifson, Shane Van Boning, Oscar Dominguez, Ernesto Dominguez, quite a few others. You got Max Eberly, you got Gary Onamura. You got a lot of 10 and above level players in this tournament with a couple of B players, a couple of local players, and a couple of out-of-town players from California that come up to support every year, sprinkled in. But overall, it's most of the players here are 10 level players. Tommy, did you win? No? Did he make a 9 on the break? Gary did? So I just got update from Tommy Lips. Gary Onamura won that match. Hill. He was playing a shot on the 1, missed it, and made the 9-ball in, and that is 9-ball, folks. And Mike just missed that shot on the 9-ball and scratched, worried about getting shape on the 2-ball. So Joe will have ball in hand and have his choice of how he wants to get on the 2. I think the 2 may only have 1 packet, but we'll see how he shoots this. Donnie is making quick work on table 2. He's now up 2-0 over Cristina, but it is Cristina's break. Joe has now decided where he wants to be on the 2. And he definitely didn't get where he wanted to get on that. He wanted to be all the way down past the 3-ball, but he ran into the 6. So he might play a safe here. He might put the 2 and the cue ball on the opposite sides of the 4. Pool hall banger, there are what you would consider pros playing right now. Donnie Branson is considered a pro. That's how he makes his living. These are all B-side matches. There will be all 4 tables tomorrow at noon Pacific will be A-side matches. I'll go over those in a second, let you know who's playing tomorrow at noon. But for right now, we still have some good matches coming up. So we just had Eric Orlifson and Ronnie Alcano finish. Up next, a couple of matches, we'll have Jeff Schilder versus John Lalo, JT Stadden versus Ramin Bakhtiari, Phil Prentice versus Ray Skinador, Tommy Butler versus Chris Stanfield, Josh Smith versus Steve Baker, Richard Geiler versus Don McClellan, Ben Sutherland versus Gary Onamura, Oscar Dominguez versus Paul Juarez. So we still have some good matches coming up tonight. We'll let you know as they start. And I believe we'll still have 1 more or 2 more rounds after those. So still plenty of pool tonight. Stay tuned in, and remember to come back tomorrow, noon Pacific, to watch the action start all over again.
Or stay with us after dark.
Yes, we will be here later. Jimmy Mattia will be here sharing stories. We will see if we can get some action happening on the stream table that you guys can enjoy. there's usually action that breaks out after this event every year. So
I hate promoting the After Dark segments because I feel so much pressure now to make action happen. Like, just a little disclaimer on that.
you know, if it doesn't happen, don't
Yeah.
hate us.
Don't
But-
expect
Yeah.
action.
But if it happens, we will be here to cover it for you.
Yeah. Suffice to say, the cameras will be on after dark.
Yeah, and just a reminder, tomorrow, those 4 matches that I was talking about, you're going to have Shane Van Boning versus Warren Kiemko. You're going to have Ace Brown versus Brian Parks, Dave Vitello versus Sal Butera, and Mitch Ellerman versus Lance Salazar. So that's what you have to look forward to tomorrow. Joe had ball in hand and gave it up, and now we're seeing the product of that. Mike missed. Joe's going to get back to the table again. Donnie is now up 3-0 over Cristina. Butch Barba won the first game in his match against Grant. And Bar Table Tommy versus Andy Hughes is just getting started. First game has not finished yet. So Joe wins that game to go up 4-2 over Mike Hutchinson. It's going to be Mike's break. He's going to have a chance to come back and make that score a little bit closer. Cristina gets to come to the table against Donnie, but she's frozen to the 1 ball. So she's going to try to work something out there. Andy Hughes is trying to run out against Bar Table Tommy. He's at the table. And Butch Barba is trying to extend his lead to 2-0 on table 4. Mike had a nice break but didn't make a ball, so Joe's going to have a first crack at this rack. He could get to the hill. Cristina tried to play a safe, didn't get safe, and Donnie made quick work of the 1, and he is on his way to running out now. He looks like he's in dead punch. He's not missing many balls. You coming back? I have Ben joining me again. No longer all by myself.
Hello.
Joe just played a fantastic safety. It's going to be tough to get to this 1 ball. And Joe wins this game. He's on the hill. So
I just received word that we've recruited another 7-ball run player today.
who did you get?
Tyler Steyer.
Oh, very nice.
He'll be at the facility on Monday.
Very cool.
Not sure. If
Oh,
it's
it was a great try. Just missed it.
Not sure if that's a definite thing or if he's just swinging by to
To check it out
check
while
out
he's here.
operations, but
You might as well while you're
sounds
here.
like It was extended an invitation and accepted it, so we'll see.
Yeah. Love to see young players continuing to, you know, if we lose the younger players, we really lose the next round. So it's nice to see young players continuing to come up and be hungry to get better and compete and support.
I like Tyler. He's got a big break, too, when he wants to. It's like Donnie Branson's up 3-0.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 4-0.
4-0. He's been running out from everywhere.
He's doing what Donnie does.
Yeah, we got our score updated over here with Joe versus Mike. And now it's just a matter whether Joe's going to play this 2-9 or whether he's going to shoot the 2. I think knowing him, he's going to try to make the 2. I don't think he's going to go for the combo here. Yeah, nope. He didn't hit it the way he wanted to. He wanted to just slide past the 3 so he could shoot it in that side pocket. Now, he might have no choice but to shoot a combo, but he also may just play safe and roll him on the back of the 6. Similar to the shot that he played on the 1 that gave him ball in hand to begin with. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Anybody back in Arizona watching, Tommy DiLorenzo's up 1-0 over Andy Hughes. Andy Hughes is a local legend. Super nice guy, lives here in Vegas. Correction, it's 2-0. Tommy must have played a combo.
Everybody has an opinion in the chat. Feel free. Hit the mute button. It's a free stream. Enjoy the show.
Hit the mute button.
Yeah, everybody's a critic.
Can't wait to read these comments. Joe lives in a trailer down by the river.
Now, how sad is this? The guy's in front of the computer is looking at his phone to watch the match.
I'm reading the chat.
Yeah. So Butch Barber won that last game. Butch is now up 2-0 over Grant Gilbert. Bar table Tommy is up 2-0 over Andy Hughes. We got Ramin coming by to say hi. How's it going, Ramin?
Hello.
And like we said, Donnie Branson is up 4-0. And I'm going to step out for a minute and let Ben take over before his match so I can chow down real quick.
There you go. They're leaving me all by myself. All right, Joe opts for the combo on the 8-9. Pockets the 7 with ease, but leaves himself a combination shot on the 8-ball here. And he handles it nicely. That puts him on the hill. Joe's up 5-2 over Mike Hutchison. Donnie's up 4-1 over Cristina. Butch Barba is up 2-1 over Grant Gilbert. And we're still 2-0 with Tommy DiLorenzo over Andy Hughes. All right, let's see what Mike has prepared for Joe on this rack. Note the position of the 8-ball and the 2-ball in the rack. I have a feeling that was deliberate. he breaks soft, the 2 ball is going to stick on the short rail down table. And the 8 ball will generally freeze toward the 9, breaking soft if he's going with that cut break. I've seen it quite often. You see the 2 ball just goes down. Well, he hit it pretty firm, but generally on a softer break, that 2 ball's been dying down by that first diamond and just staying on the rail. Mike knew what he was doing by placing that 2 ball there. My guess is that Joe's going to opt for a push out. I can't see him getting crazy and jumping this, but not a whole lot of reward if he does. I think a push out would be a little bit smarter. Push for an easier jump, maybe. Thanks to everybody that's tuned in and watching. Brackets are available online as well. I do believe there is a link in the stream or in the chat box for the updated live brackets. Can also be found at leaguepoolstats.com. Click on tournaments, click on Southwest, click on Nevada, and you'll see the 2018 Andy Mercer Memorial 9-Ball Classic event here at the Rum Runner Tropicana in Las Vegas. Joe's got some thinking to do here. He doesn't generally take this long. I think he's trying to find the smartest place to push to. He does have a 5-2 lead over Mike, so he does have a little bit of breathing room, but you don't want to give your opponent an opportunity if you don't need to, especially Mike. He's a great player. But he is really eyeing this up. All right, he's pushing up. He's going to leave Mike a safety opportunity, it looks like. I don't see Mike going for this. I see him banking it up behind the 6 ball and leaving the cue ball tucked behind the 4. He's got a natural angle to just carry it over. Looks like that's what he was trying to do. He just didn't hit it quite thin enough or quite hard enough. I don't see Joe getting too aggressive on this one either. I think he's going to probably duck and leave the 2 ball about center diamond on this bottom foot rail and take the cue ball up table behind the 7. Probably be what I would do here. You've got 4 blockers and 7 feet of distance if you're able to pull that off. And for anybody that's just tuning in and wondering, these are all B-side matches for the remainder of the day today. Tomorrow at noon, we're going to have Shane Van Boning versus Warren Kiamko, Ace Brown versus Brian Parks, David DeTillo versus Sal Butera, and Mitch Ellerman versus Lance Salazar. Those are winner side matches that are going to start at noon tomorrow. I believe it was noon. That's a great kick by Mike there. And he was rewarded. He almost made it, but he did get rewarded with a safety. Joe may actually have an edge of this, but it's the wrong edge. He may have to go rail first and cross over it and try to play it safe. Or shoot it at the rail where he just placed that chalk and hope to avoid the 9. Kick underneath it. Donnie puts another beat up on the board. He's up 5-1 on Cristina Gonzales. Cristina's breaking. Looks like Joe is going rail first. Oh, but he missed it. So Mike's going to have ball in hand and a good opportunity to get back within 2 racks here. It's 5-2 at the moment.
Hi. Are you doing your thing? Commentating? She's good at it. She's good at commentating. She's good at a lot of things. Yeah. So when she first started, she picked up like that. I noticed it right away. One thing is she knows something.
Stacy's over here hitting me again.
I don't have it. You got it. I get up here.
I only do it because you're in the way.
She's back.
Whether the chat likes it or not.
You know, I've only noticed one negative person
Yeah.
who doesn't deserve the exposure. He can remain nameless. Don't know who he is, but if you can't appreciate good commentary on a free stream, I don't know what to tell you. I think you do an excellent job, Stacy.
Oh, thanks. Looking back in the comments, Rocky Phipps still lives here, and he still plays. He's definitely not as active as he used to be, but he's still a local player. He still lives here.
Good camera angle here. Thank you, Geraldine. Oh. Well, he rattles it, but he leaves him hooked.
Vicki and I went down to Branson practice for about 3 hours today. Trying to get her in shape for that women's tournament next week.
Looking around the room, Butch Barba's up 3-1 on Grant Gilbert. Tommy De Lorenzo is now up 3-0 on Andy Hughes. Still looking at a 5-1 scoreline between Donnie and Cristina. We're 5-2 on the feature table here with Joe on the hill and at the table.
Thank you, Skip, very much. I appreciate it. I had to eat quick because Ben's got to play a match here soon, so.
Joe kicks in a 3 and the cue ball followed it.
That's when you know you hit it here, though, is when you follow it. I mean, you can't hit it any better. But so now Mike's going to have ball in hand with, what, 5 balls? Make sure my math has been wrong all day, so.
You got it right this time.
Yeah.
For working for Wells Fargo, I expect your math to be on point.
That's what a calculator's for. I don't do that anymore, though. I don't work with math anymore. I don't, luckily I don't have to play with the money anymore.
You're just like a babysitter now, huh?
Yes.
A branch babysitter. I like it.
Kinda, yeah. I have 10 branches, so I babysit a lot of employees. Make sure they're doing everything right for you guys.
Do you go 3 rails, 4 rails forward, or you go 2 rails back? I think Mike's going back.
I like going backwards on this one.
The reason I don't is just I tend to end up in that side pocket a lot.
I just don't have enough confidence in going forward when the ball's that far away from the rail. I tend to rattle the ball.
Donnie Branson beats Cristina 6-1.
That was a quick match.
Yeah, they're both very fast players, and Donnie getting out from everywhere.
I can't even read those signs from here. That's how bad my eyes are.
So we've got Chris Stanfield and
Tommy
Tom
Butler.
Going to throw another shameless plug in there. Chris Stanfield, another 7-ball run employee.
Yep, and Mike wins that match to make it 5-3, and he will also have the break. Update, Butch Barba won that last game. He's now up 4-1 over local Grant Gilbert. Bar table Tommy is up 3-0, running out against Andy Hughes.
Upper portion of your screen. Hutch coming into break. He's got those custom glasses.
I know. I was just thinking about that. Him and Cristina both. They have them from the same brand, and they're made for playing pool. They have no rims on the top of the glasses so that you never have anything obstructing your view of the ball when you're down on it. And they both only wear them for playing pool. They don't wear them outside of playing pool.
Wonder if Chris knows he's got a match right now.
Freddie Boggs does still live here. He's not playing this year. He usually plays every year, but he's not playing this year. He does still play, though. He's still active.
He hasn't been feeling well lately.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you what's going on with him, but I just know he hasn't been 100% healthy. Does Tano do that to you?
Yeah. Ramin bacteria causing trouble. And I think Mike was trying to break out the 6 there, and he got it. I can't tell how far the 8 is off of the rail, but he may be playing to just leave the cue ball there and make the 8
Then the 5.
billiard off of the 5.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Tommy's now up 4-0 on Andy Hughes. Butch Barba's up 4-1 on Grant Gilbert. Chris Stanfield and Tommy Butler are scheduled to be underway in a moment, but we don't see Chris Stanfield. So I believe he'll be on the clock here shortly. Hate to see someone go out like that.
Yeah, I see it. Were we supposed to? Did we talk about that? It made it sound like we talked about it or something.
I'm in for sure.
I gotta find Stanfield. I haven't seen him in these matches.
Oh, wow. Call him.
I did.
He didn't answer? He was just in the building, though. He might be in the bathroom. Like, he was just in the building. We're working to try to get Chris Stanfield here so that he doesn't forfeit this match.
You okay?
Where they at? All right, Mike should get back within 1 here.
Yeah, Tommy's warming up, and it looks like Chris Stanfield will make it before he has to forfeit a game, so hopefully he will be over here soon. There's actually another bar two storefronts down, the Gorilla Cafe, that also has pool tables, so a lot of players go practice over there or down the street at a bar called Putters, and sometimes they cut it a little bit close getting back, finding parking, whatnot, and hopefully that's not what happens here. Hopefully he gets here in time.
There's Chris.
He's in the room. He's making his way to the table, so we will have a match going on there shortly. That's the match on the left side of your screen.
So yeah, he must have been right next door practicing. Or
Yeah, and Mike just won that last game, so it is now 5-3. Joe Cannella
5-4.
versus 5-4. It was 5-3. It's now 5-4. Joe versus Mike. Joe is on the hill. Grant just won that last game, so Butch is now up 4-2 over Grant. Bar Table Tommy is now up 4-1 over Andy Hughes.
Andy's on the board. All right. I like Andy. He does
Yeah.
a lot for pool and people in this town.
He's also one of the reasons why Daniel came out, because he was the one that was pushing it on Facebook. That's a great thing about Daniel. You bug him enough on Facebook, and he's like, all right, I'll come. Another big shout out to Geraldine for keeping things running when Daniel needs a break. She keeps him on task, keeps the people in chat in check. All right, and that match is going off a little bit late, but it is going.
Yeah, they're going out early. That's what it was. Oh, they're up there.
Chris won the break, so Chris will be breaking against Tommy Butler.
Man, I was breaking good today. I was making the big ball and we had to
You guys weren't doing it like this. You weren't having,
We weren't doing that on the spot.
that's a whole new ball.
Yes, a local did stream last year's Mercer. I think it was a combination of Tim Kovacs and Adam Roberts. You know, Andy has so many cues, you never know which one he's going to play with. I'm sure he'll tell us after the match. He's definitely a collector.
Yeah, he's got some amazing cues.
Yeah, a lot of Southwests.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Joe's break. Makes
Looks
a
like
ball,
the 9 ball's
makes the
going.
9. That's not going to count
That's gonna
because it's in the
spot
bottom 2 pockets.
I don't. Yes, it was.
But he is going to have, he can see the 2. It's makeable. You just got to worry about
Go back
staying
and
out
forth.
from behind the 5 to get a shape on the 3. But he could run this out and win this match. My favorite place to play in Vegas is Griff's because it is a half a block from my house. They also have a full bar and nice tables, so that's always a plus. But we have a lot of good places. We have Good Times, we have Q Club, we have Mickey's. We have a new place that just opened across the street from my house, but have not been there yet.
What's
So
that
I'm
called?
going to have to go check it out. I can't remember.
They got pool tables?
Yeah. What's the place across the street, babe? Jesse, what's the place across the street, the name of the new pool hall that just opened?
I'll find it. It's like initials. It's B and something.
You definitely have a lot of choices. It just depends on what side of town you're on. Vegas is a pretty big place now, so it's a matter of what's most convenient because our traffic here sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So,
Traffic here does suck. Take it from a prior Uber driver.
and Joe thinned that ball, just didn't hit it with enough force to get it to go. So he's going to let Mike back to the table, and Mike's going to have a chance to make it hill-hill.
I think
And
if he can get to the 4, he's in good shape.
Butch is now on the hill against Grant Gilbert. Bar table Tommy De Lorenzo is up 4-1 still over Andy Hughes. And no score yet with Chris versus Tommy Butler. Chris is at the table, though. It was Chris's break. He just played a nice little billiard with a 2 off of the 7. And it looks like he hooked himself, so on the table behind us, I think we're going to see Chris jumping that 9 to get to the 3. Mike tries to bank the 3, doesn't get there, leaves Joe a shot.
And a natural window.
Yeah. He doesn't have a whole lot of, he's going to have to do some work to get it over there, and
Mike's,
But
Mike's not looking too
he's
happy.
definitely on the right side of the ball.
I think he could just punch it over.
As always, got to give a huge shout out to Gino and Gordy Hill for keeping this tournament running for so long. They run a fantastic event. It's a well-oiled machine. You always know what to expect. Everything's always run well every year. They do a great job of moving matches around if things get behind so that players aren't waiting too long. The staff is fantastic. And remember, if you're in Vegas and you're a Packer fan, you know what bar you need to go to. And Joe overshot that window. He's now going to have a kick on this 4-ball, which is now not an easy ball to kick with a 6 right next to it and the 9 on the other side.
Good news for Joe is if he does hit this, as long as he hits the right side of it, the cue ball will catch a rail and snug up behind the 9.
Yeah. If he hits it with enough speed, he could end up with a good safety, but he's looking to see if he can come behind it because it's a little bit easier to hit it from the bottom half of the table than it is from hitting it from the top half of the table. So we'll see what he decides to do.
Good to see you.
One of the things I love about coming to this tournament is seeing everybody that you only see once a year because they only come out for this because this is such an event. So it looks like he's decided he can get past the 8th. He's going to try to come 2 rails behind it. Yeah, hits it good, and it looks like he nutted it.
Wow. Wow. What a shot.
You know, sometimes you make a good hit, and that's the kind of the way I feel. If you're kicking at a ball and you make it, you earned it. You know, if you made good enough contact for it to go to a pocket, good on you.
Yeah.
Even if you were the one that hooked yourself. So now he's got, I mean, the 7-9. You know, you want to make sure that you don't get hooked behind the 9 when you're trying to get to the 7. But shouldn't be too difficult. The 6 is right there, so it's going to be really easy to control the cue ball after you make the 6. And it looks like Tommy's going to run out to get that first game against Chris. That is definitely not the angle that he wanted on that 6-ball on the feature table. He's going to have to do a little bit of work. And he's on the rail, so what do you do here?
I cut it past the 8 and just snatch it back into the side rail and back out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as bad as what we think it is from here.
Yeah. It's not where I wanted to be, but that's why there's 6
pockets,
pockets,
right? He can easily
right?
pocket that 6 and avoid contact with the 9.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say easily, but it's there.
Yeah. Just got to get under it enough, and he's not totally frozen on the rail. And with where he's at being so close to the corner, he can get under the cue ball without jacking up too much.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to touch the 9 ball on this shot. Although I don't like where the 9 is.
No.
As far as trying to pocket it after position or after pocketing the 8 ball. I'm not a big fan of the location of the 9. I still wouldn't move it on this shot.
Yeah, no.
You risk
not the
putting
right
yourself
time.
in jail. Yeah. Let's see what he does here. Oh.
Wow. Well, he hit the 9, but he hit it hard enough that it now made the 7 makeable, and the 9 is now in kind of the same spot, but the opposite side of the table. It's frozen the rail. It's a little bit farther away from the side pocket, so there's no risk of a scratch. But you definitely want to get on the right side of it because nobody likes shooting balls past the side pocket.
I think he'll just roll this in.
And he got the right angle to just use a little bit of outside and come back behind the 9.
Good shot.
And he hit it beautifully. He adjusted very well that whole game, you know. Sometimes when you slop a ball in, And Bar Table Tommy won that match. I don't know whether it was 6-1 or 6-2,
I believe
but it was 6
Joe
to
missed
not
that.
very much.
We turned our head for 1 second, and Joe missed that 9.
Wow.
I was already inputting it as a win.
Wow. Yeah, I turned over to see who won with Bar Table Tommy versus Andy. And so he conceded that game, and that will put Mike on the hill. And it's going to be Mike's break. So that was a huge swing. You go from winning to giving up the hill break.
Yep. No, he hasn't moved it yet. Look, he's doing it right now.
And I'm going to adjust the score for you guys on the stream. So that is a hill match again. He just gave up the win and the hill break. So next up on that back table, we're going to have John Lalo
Jeff Schilder.
versus Jeff Schilder, left-handed Jeff.
Left Jeff. Mike did? Seems like every time I turn my head,
It just goes to show you can't turn away for a second. I turned over to see who was playing on the next table, and Mike whiffed it, missed the rack entirely. So now Joe will have the hill break. What a turn! What a turn of events.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Gray, definitely the wrong time. He had the momentum there for a second.
Joe makes a ball, spreads the table open beautifully, and has a perfect shot on the one to get to the deuce.
Pool hall banger Mad Max is still in. He lost earlier to Sal Butera, so he is on the B side. He will be playing later tonight.
I believe that was a 6-4 scoreline between Sal and Max earlier today.
I think so.
Chris Stanfield and Thomas Butler are tied at 1 apiece. Butch Barbo's up 5-4 over Grant Gilbert. John Lalo and Jeff Schilder are just getting underway.
So Joe could very easily be out here. He really wants to redeem himself. And that's one of those things that's tough to come back from. When you make an error like that, it's hard to compose yourself right away and come back to try to play better than you just did.
Yeah, you're right there. What's up, Adam Kroll and everybody else back in Arizona? Adam? Did you? Adam Jesse says you got 1 pocket action. Oh, Adam, you crack me up. I'm not going to say that on air, but you got me laughing, brother.
Come on now, we're all friends here.
Brandon Schuff is staying at my house for the U.S. Open 1 pocket events. And
Yeah.
1 pocket in Banks. And Adam might be stopping by to say hi.
Get some lessons.
That's a strong house with Mitch and Brandon. I'm no slouch, but having those two in the house.
Makes you feel like an amateur?
Yeah, I know I am, but there was a slight chance that Bergman was actually going to be staying with us too for that, but I didn't hear back from him. That would have been crazy to have 2 previous Moscone Cup members just hanging out. Jesse Adams says heads.
Hey, Jesse, I say no to dinner. No to dinner. I know, but I'm saying, you want to just say no to dinner and let them go? Yeah. It's like $50 a person, and I'm not going to be able to eat that much.
I don't even. She made it sound like we had agreed to it. I don't even sound familiar. Like we had that conversation.
Looks like Joe's going to put the finishing touches on this rack.
Well, we thought he was going to make that last 9 ball, too. I think he'll take some extra time and make sure that he gets there, though. Take an extra half a second breath before you shoot this one.
It's got to be painful for Mike.
Yeah.
When he had the chance there.
Yep. So Joe Cannella eliminates Mike Hutchison from the tournament.
Good battle, Mike. We're going to have Ramin Bakhtiari and JT Staten on our feature table. Everybody can appreciate that match. Ramin's always entertaining, and I know Arizona's watching this stream, and everybody knows John Staten back in Arizona and here. Should be a good match. And I do believe next up we'll have Phil Prentice and Ray Skinnendor shortly enough.